Hi guys, welcome back to another season 15 episode review. I'm Maddy Morphosis.
And I am Miss Liza, and today we are reviewing episode 4, the notorious... What?
I did the wrong finger. I was like,
Today we are reviewing episode 4, the notorious Snatch Game of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Snatch Games, plural.
Oh, yeah?
Because with how bad last season's Snatch Game was, they said, we are gonna get a good performance out of this.
They said surely one of these girls is good. So the girls are divided into 2 Snatch Game groups, judged by none other than members of the pit crew.
I was at Piranha recently, Piranha in Las Vegas. I was there recently, and I went out there. Alexis Mateo was hosting the show, and then we found out Bruno was in the club, and they announced him. People lost their minds.
I mean, rightfully so. If anybody's wondering, Bruno is just as attractive in real life as he is on screen.
There was at least like 3 Ru girls in the bar at that time, but no one got a louder applause at Piranha than Bruno.
Starting off group 1, we have Marcia cubed as Tim Gunn.
I thought she did a pretty good Tim Gunn.
I think so too. I think she looks really great. I like the dedication to the look.
Yeah. I will say, like, as someone that has not worn any makeup the whole season, she did a full transformation into Tim Gunn.
That is such a good point. I would not have pegged her to be like so into the transformation with how little cosmetics she wears throughout the season.
There's like some queens that went all out with the transformations and some not as much. We'll talk about in a moment. But I feel like Marcia, it's so interesting. Whenever she goes from like boy to girl, it's just like a little mascara, a little chapstick. But when she goes boy to a different boy, it's like full on transformation. Yeah, she did good.
I thought she did a great job.
I think Tim Gunn was a really smart choice. I even considered doing Tim Gunn like before. I mean, obviously it didn't matter because I didn't make it a Snatch Game, but whatever. I think Tim Gunn is a really solid choice, especially with like male characters doing so well like on Snatch Game. But I think she did really good. I think she gave enough of Tim Gunn. I thought it was solid. I thought she did good. Designers, please.
Make it work.
Make it work.
Up next, we have Luxx Noir London as the iconic Amanda Lepore.
She had the look pretty good. I think she could have gone even more dramatic with it.
I think she did well enough.
In it.
I think, again, she looks fantastic. And I agree that I do think she could have gone a little bit farther with the exaggerated features that Amanda Lepore has, because that, to me, is quintessential Amanda Lepore. Like, big lips, the high cheekbone filler, like, big blonde hair. But I think Luxx looks fantastic, and I agree she did a safe rendition of Amanda Lepore.
Up next, we have the saucy Miss Malaysia Baby Doll Fox as Saucy Santana.
I think Saucy Santana is a really smart Snatch Game character because not only does Saucy have a very recognizable look, but they also have a very over-the-top personality that is, I feel like, ripe for the picking for a challenge that's like impersonations.
Yeah.
So I feel like Saucy Santana is a very good choice, but I think Malaysia did a very safe rendition of Saucy.
I think she looked like Saucy Santana. She sounded like Saucy Santana. Yeah. And like you said, I think it's a smart choice because it's such a big personality. Saucy Santana is so relevant right now too that you don't have to dig through like all these archives to kind of piece together a person.
You're not having to Google who Saucy Santana is.
It's in a lot of people's like subconscious in the moment, but it's also a smart choice because you don't have to block out your facial hair. That is,
you don't have to shave.
Yeah. When they came on screen, I immediately got it.
Right, we immediately knew who she was playing.
I didn't even need to see the name card. I was like, oh, that's Saucy Santana.
That's Saucy Santana.
Yeah, solid job.
Up next, we have Mistress Isabelle Brooks as Rosie O'Donnell, or Abby Miller.
Or Abby. So this is the exact opposite of Malaysia Baby Doll Fox, where I think Malaysia Baby Doll Fox looked and sounded like the character. I don't think Mistress Isabelle looked and sounded like Rosie O'Donnell per se, but I think what she did with her performance was like more fun to watch.
Right.
And I got the energy of Rosie O'Donnell, like the quips and everything.
Yeah, she feels like Rosie O'Donnell, but she looks like an elementary school teacher.
Overall, I thought her performance was the best performance in the Snatch Game. It doesn't like really sell Rosie O'Donnell, but you get the personality and it's the most entertaining to watch. She did a great job just being funny and having a lot of these like great, memorable, funny lines.
I agree. Yep. Up next, we have Anetra as Georgina Ramsey.
Gorgina.
Gorgina
Gorgina.
Gorgina Ramsey.
This is gorgeous like Georges Ramsey. I think she had like a couple funny little moments, but she doesn't look even remote. She looks like Anetra in the cheapest wig we've seen her in so far.
Yeah, she looks like Anetra in a hard front.
And a white chef's outfit.
Yeah. Gordon Ramsay is another one of those characters where I feel like it's okay if you don't look quite like him, but he has such a large and dynamic and unique personality that it's very obvious when you're doing a bad Gordon Ramsay impersonation.
Yeah.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich. I think there's a lot more you could have done like with this character. I think in another Snatch Game she would have been in trouble, but there are worse performances in the Snatch Game. Following her, we have Robin Fierce as Karen Huger from The Real Housewives.
I thought it was okay. Like, there wasn't really anything notable about it, but I think there were definitely worse people, much worse people, and there were definitely better people. So, I mean, I feel like she did fine.
I thought it was okay. It wasn't like the most memorable performance, but again, it was definitely not the worst one.
Right. Exactly. And for some queens, just surviving Snatch Game is a win.
Yeah. I know like there are some queens, such as myself, that look forward to Snatch Game, that really want to be a part of it.
And then there are queens like me who would rather do literally anything other than Snatch Game.
Moving on from her, we have Salina Estides doing the Virgin Mary.
I didn't love it. I feel like at the beginning with her big personality, it could have been really funny. But I think this fell into the trope of huge personality, trying to make yourself memorable, but really honestly just kind of interjecting so much that I feel like it took away from other people's times as well.
I will say like Snatch Game, like obviously with this like format, you're only given so much amount of time. You gotta have like your moments, interject them. If you're gonna have a moment, it needs to be a moment. And I feel like a lot of like Salina's Virgin Mary was just a lot of just like, look how loud and crazy I am. I'm the Virgin Mary.
Look, I have a baby. Yeah,
it was just, it was a lot of this like over the top like humor that I didn't think worked too well for the character. I do think Virgin Mary is a really smart character to do. I think she could have taken it very far in the direction of like a new spin on a character. She took it too far in the direction that is Salina Estides. But it did have entertaining moments at times.
Again, I feel like she just went a little too far with it. And that is the end of Group 1 Snatch Game. Up next, we have Group 2. Starting us off strong, we have Loosey DeLuca as Joan Rivers.
I feel like Loosey LaDuca's Joan Rivers is like quintessential Snatch Game. This is like, whenever people think Snatch Game, this is like what they're looking for. It's like, we talked before, some people, they look like the character, embody it, but aren't that funny. And some other people don't really seem like the character, they're just themselves, but they're very quippy and have good lines. This was the best of both worlds. She was like funny, it was like the character, it sounded like it was reminiscent of it, but it was also quippy and like very reactionary and funny in the moment as the character. Yeah,
she worked really well with what other people were saying, what other people were doing. I think this is all around a very good Snatch Game. Yeah.
I was worried too because the last episode she did like a really good Dolly impersonation and I was like, oh, but she's not going to do Dolly for Snatch Game. Who is she going to do? And then she shows up with another really good character, which makes me wonder how many characters does she have just like in her Rolodex? That
she just like, does like classic white women. Just really good Reba McEntire.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
No upper lip, just the red bob. Like
she loves her kids and never stops.
Never stops. That's a Reba girl if I ever seen one.
I have no critiques about this. It checked off all the boxes for me.
Me too. I think she did fantastic.
Yeah.
Up next, we have Sasha Colby as Jan Couch.
Yes, the renowned televangelist. I think she looks like televangelista. This is another one where I think it had a lot of potential. I thought this was okay. She had kind of like these fun quips, little like with like the cross moment. But even like with like the little cross and everything, like Joan Rivers stole the spotlight with that.
Right. And, I feel like this would have been a really, really good Snatch Game character if Sasha was able to interact with the people around her in the same comfort that Loosey was able to.
Yeah.
Like she interacted with other people, but it felt very scripted.
like you said earlier, some queens, they go to Snatch Game wanting to win. Some queens go there just to be safe and make it through. I think she came here, like, she was here to make it through. She had a couple funny lines, like whenever she was saying, like, Ross Matthews was a sodomite and everything.
Yeah.
And I think it's a solid safe.
I agree.
Yeah.
Next to her, all the way from the Louvre, we have the Mona Lisa.
So Jax as the Mona Lisa, this is another one, but I think it is such a great character. There's so much potential of things you can do with it. It's someone that you can really put your own spin on and add a personality to. And I feel like Jax really did that at the beginning.
Right, she kind of fell towards the bottom.
Yeah.
I feel like this is one of those ideas that's really great for a moment, but not necessarily for an entire challenge.
Yeah. I feel like she didn't really give us what could have been given.
Yeah, I definitely think it was safe. Unfortunately, for some others, not so safe. Sugar and Spice.
For something like Snatch Game, we should break them apart individually, but we're kind of grouping them together for a certain reason because it feels like Sugar and Spice both gave the exact same character with a slightly different accent. And it's the same characters they've been given for like their like acting challenges and stuff. It's kind of like the dumb, ditzy, you know.
Like the ditzy blondes.
Yeah. Which
I feel like is a good way to survive Snatch Game. But I feel like you still have to be that character and still do a good enough job that it's not cringy. Which unfortunately I don't think Sugar and Spice did.
We'll go ahead and break these apart individually. We'll start with Sugar. Sugar was Trisha Paytas, which I think is a phenomenal choice. There's so much to work with.
If I had to do Snatch Game, I would do Trisha Paytas because she's so crazy and so just like off the wall random that you can say, do, and be whatever you want. And as long as you do it confidently and have Trisha's mannerisms, it will be Trisha Paytas.
The thing about Trisha is that she would just like weave a web and it feels like she's making up stories as she goes.
It's because she is.
So someone would be like, oh, Trisha, do you know how to swim? And she'll just be like, oh, no, I don't know how to swim, but I was a lifeguard for like 6 months. But I had to quit because I watched a kid drown.
Sugar really didn't do any of that. She just was Sugar.
Can someone tell me where the exit is?
I don't even know where I am right now.
Yeah.
Trisha Paytas has so much potential, and I really think that Sugar fell flat in this regard. Yeah. She was not as bad as Spice, though.
You thought Spice was worse?
I thought Spice was worse, yeah. I was like, ooh.
Well, I will say, like, Spice did try a little bit more. Spice at least put on, like, the accent and everything. It wasn't a good accent. It was giving very much, like, she has never met a Southern person in her life.
Yeah.
It was very, like, Jasmine Kennedy, like, I'm about to bust.
Yeah.
It's like, that's... I don't know what you're doing right now. She seemed like Miley Cyrus was being performed by Goofy. She's like, yuck, yuck,
and whenever they put her laugh on the loop,
that was 100% an edit. I know an edit when I see it. That was a
they did it once, and then they looped it and cut away from her so that you couldn't see her just doing it again. So they definitely looped it, but I don't know, it was the funniest part of the Snatch Game to me. She tried really hard, but it just didn't land the way that she wanted it to.
As hard as she tried, she failed to spice things up a bit. Sugar and Spice are in trouble.
Definitely.
Yeah, but more at 11. In between the two of them was Tan Mom. She just went full on like Brooklyn smoker mom, just very like, I went on a diet. I started taking your Aunt Kathy's diabetes pills and I lost like 15 pounds in a week and they're amazing.
How are you so good at that?
In a past life. You
were a Tan Mom.
It is what it is.
I mean, I do feel like whenever you're sitting next to somebody like Loosey, who is doing such a good actual person, your very vague Tan Mom definitely loses some of its appeal.
Solid job, Amethyst, but you should be more like your sister Loosey. Okay.
Last but not least, we have Aura Mayari as Bretman Rock.
I think she looks like Bretman Rock. She has like the style and everything, like the mesh shirt. I think even the muscles. Bretman Rock is in his himbo era right now. Even like the hair. Like
I think the look is good.
The look is good. And it ends there. Aura is probably someone that has seen Bretman Rock videos, but hasn't like really studied the character enough to really like embody that person.
Right.
Got the look down.
Yeah, I just didn't get it at all. She doesn't sound anything like Bretman. She doesn't say anything that Bretman would say.
Yeah.
And I feel like Bretman does have such a distinct personality that you could do a really good Bretman Rock impersonation I just don't think Aura did.
Moving on from Snatch Game, the queens now moved to the runway, where they were tasked with creating a look that embodied glamour, filth, and horror. There was a lot of really fun looks in this. I liked this runway category, just in that like it's very different than like the normal fashion high glamour. It is very like Dragula in a lot of these looks, but it's also very like
beautiful, spooky, you know, like still be glamorous, but a little spook.
I think with this runway, there's a lot of opportunity to do something that's very like different than you would normally see on Drag Race.
I agree.
There's a lot of opportunity. This is like the chance for all the queens, because all these queens do not do like big horror, scary looks. This is an opportunity to really step out of their comfort zones and to do something very different. And some of the queens did, and some of the queens did not. But we'll get into that in just a moment.
Starting us off, we have Miss Marcia.
This is another one where I feel like she has a lot of potential with like the characters she's choosing. But the same way with like last week, how she did like the Tin Man, I feel like with this, doing this like scary dentist character, she didn't go far enough with it.
Something like gory, I feel like would have done really well here.
Looks like she bought like a Leg Avenue scary scientist costume.
And she put a belt on it.
It was a belt on it, yeah.
And then she called it a day.
If this was a local show and someone came out and they came out with this at first for like a number and then it revealed into something else, I would have been like, oh, that's fine, that's serviceable. But bringing like this look to like the Drag Race runway for like your main category, and this is all it is in its entirety, for a runway that has so much potential too.
Right, it fell flat, but she had a great Snatch Game.
Following her, we have Luxx Noir London.
I love it. We know exactly what she's saying. It's a story. It's an entire concept. I think she looks fantastic. I definitely think it is beautiful nightmare. A washed up body at the bottom of a lake, but she still looks glamorous. And I think she did a fantastic job. It's one of my favorite looks from the night. And honestly, she was getting a workout in, just dragging that. That's a full ass brick.
I think like the makeup, the hair, the outfit, like the little brick, it told a story. It looked amazing. It loses me at the legs.
Oh, because they're not
she
the
is
same
like
color.
She's like underwater. She's all gray. She's a body that's been floating in the water for a while. But then she has full blood in her legs. Even just like a gray legging, you know, something to color that in. It loses me because the whole look is like she's a dead girl floating in the river, sleeping with the fishes, and then just like full of life from like the waist down.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying. I do think that the gray legs would have looked really good. But I kind of like the dual tone of it. I think from the bottom, it's giving the glamour, it's giving the beauty, you know what I mean? And then the top is like the nightmare portion of it. I don't mind it as much.
I think it's a great look. It just loses me at the legs. And it throws it off too much for me to where I don't like it. If she just borrowed Marcia's gray tights from the Tin Man look, it would have completed the look and been amazing.
Next we have Malaysia, baby doll, baby doll, baby doll, baby doll. Baby doll. Fox.
I like the idea she's going with, of like, it's like she's going for something like very scary, but with something very bright and colorful. I like the hair too, like little horns and stuff. But this look overall, it feels like she had this really fun pastel pageant outfit that she painted like scary clown makeup for.
Yeah, I am not a fan of this look either. For the same reasons, I feel like it's very disjointed. I feel like it doesn't really match the category. Also, this is the third time that she's worn a white gown on the main stage. You know, it's close enough to the other two where I feel like at this point it's like, did you only pack
ball gowns,
mermaid cut gowns? I know that back piece cost a pretty penny because ostrich feathers are very expensive. But I just don't think, I feel like you could have saved this for a different runway that would have matched maybe a little bit better. Because for me, nothing is spooky about this other than the makeup.
And next up, we have Mistress Isabelle Brooks.
First things first, this bitch is stamped. She said, mug. So good. I really love the hair. It's like that old school hair where they have like the Coke bottle, you know, and the hair sprayed upside down and then it's just like really fluffy. I really like that. I really like the cat suit. I think it's fun. And I like the idea of the cage and like making it a like spider web. I like that idea. I feel like it could have been executed a bit better because right now it just looks a little, I feel like it looks a little frumpy in the skirt area. But I really like the Edwardian collar. I just feel like this skirt is not really doing it for me.
It's almost giving like Queen of Hearts, but then she has like a spider skirt and collar. And I'm just not like understanding 100% like what's going on here. I think she did like a very similar look, like did this, but then she put on like some like little fake arms. She had extra arms, and she was like a spider queen or something. The overall look isn't like really selling it for me, and I'm not understanding like who her character is.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like, I think based on what we've seen, I think the prompt given to the girls was probably show us what your fear is. Marcia's was the dentist, and then we had clowns, and now we have spider. I think they probably were told, like, what's your biggest fear, and put it on the runway. So I think she's supposed
Luxx is
to
probably
be
drowning.
Drowning. Yeah. So I think she's supposed to be like a spider, like caught in a spider's web. But it's just like looking at it, I never would have said that. But I want this bitch to pay me just one time.
Yeah, just one time.
Just one time. I wanted to drag one time.
Not a fan of your runway, but we would love for you to turn us into drag queens for a day.
Yeah, just for a day. If you're ever in Vegas, let us know. Like a Black Widow babe, she is Anetra.
I feel like this is like trying to sell the same story as Mistress, of like the kind of like the spider feel to it, very like Black Widow. I like this one a little bit more. It's not as like it's not super direct of like she's not like being a spider, but like I'm getting the spider vibes from it, which is like the pattern of the dress and like the little tail thing. Yeah,
definitely get spider a bit more from this than we did Mistresses. I think she looks fantastic.
She loves licking her fingers. I feel like she was a cat in a past life. She's like, no. I feel like you never see, like, you don't see a whole lot of latex on the Drag Race runway, surprisingly.
That's because it's hard to get into.
Well, beside the point, shit like this you see on Dragula all the time. I'm like, bring this shit to the runway. It looks great, like the reflection of it. It's very different. It's saucy.
I will say, the queens have not really given me quite the level of, like, nightmare that I really want. I feel like with that prompt, there's so much opportunity to be, like, really like gory, you know what I mean? And like, I mean, to be fair, it's on MTV, so maybe they had to keep it PG-13. I
feel like the way like Drag Race has gone for a while, it's kind of like warped queens' perceptions of, like what they need to bring to the runway. And a lot of queens think that they have to go like full on like fashion moments for everything, and a lot of time that works out and it's great on the runway, but sometimes like to do like a full like conceptual just look and just like drag is not always just like walking on the runway. Sometimes it's just like selling a character or a story or an idea.
For me, for this runway, I'm not really looking for camp. I'm looking for more like uncomfortable.
¿Por qué no los dos? Why not both? Overall, like Anetra's look.
Yes, very. What's happening? Salina Cities.
So this is the exact opposite of what we're talking about before, where it's like I feel like she's not trying to look pretty. I don't like the way it looks.
Right. No, I feel like, you know, kudos to her for trying something that was different. It does have that layer of ugliness to it. But instead of being still very beautiful, it's just kind of ugly.
She went on for like Buffalo Bill, Texas Chainsaw Massacre with like the skin and everything. I like the concept of it. I just don't like the outfit. I think the same concept would have looked really good if it was like, you know, like the different like skins and everything cut together. But if it was like a cat suit or
like
something.
Skin tight.
Yeah, because the whole thing with like Buffalo Bill is that he wanted to like wear people's skin, and I don't think he meant to wear it as like an asymmetrical dress. I will say with like Salina's drag in particular, like Salina is very conceptual. I love her mind. I just don't like the outfits that she's like brought to it, but I love like the concepts and the idea of them. And I think if I saw like anything that she's worn in the season so far, even the things that I didn't like as much, if I saw them in a club or a venue, I would go up for it because it's so different and it's so unique and so conceptual.
Up next, we have yet another spider.
Yeah, Robin Fierce.
Robin Fierce. I think hers is my favorite spider.
Yeah.
Of the three.
So far, like of the spiders we've seen, this is my favorite one. They're getting progressively better.
As time goes on. I really like the little housewife kind of idea with there's your extra arms.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I think that this is definitely my favorite spider look out of the three. She looks fantastic. It's definitely giving glamorous fear of spiders. Glamorous arachnophobia.
Again, like I still think she could have gone even further with it.
I agree, yeah. But
I enjoy the look. Again, Robin Fierce has yet to miss for me.
Yeah, me too. I think all of her runways have been really great.
Again, I think it could have been a little bit more conceptual, a little more crazy, but I love the housewife look with the little spider element to it. Good job. Up next, we have Lucky Lucy. Up next, we have Lucy LaDuca.
I think she looks great. I really like the half mask. She's obviously, like, we know immediately what she's doing.
Yeah.
You know, I do think it's a little on the nose, you know? It's like, you're just a horror movie character.
What's on her eye?
Anyway.
This seems like another look where it's like, oh, I got to do something really spooky, but I don't want to look ugly.
Yes, it's
So
like they're all so scared to look ugly.
It's like,
which, as somebody that's never been ugly a day in her life, I can attest to that does sound very scary.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
Couldn't
but,
imagine.
Like, even like this, like, the outfit itself is like a lot of like these tattered materials, but like it creates like a great silhouette. And then like the mask, she's like, oh, I have this like scary mask, but I'm only gonna cover one eye and be really pretty underneath.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it's a look
agree.
like she could have done more, kind of like blood splatter, very like taste or something. Would have been really cool looking. Or I don't know.
This is another opportunity that would have looked really cool with some prosthetics, because you could have had a little chainsaw, and then you could have like a huge like gash on your face, or like the arm.
If you want to go like Friday the 13th, but make it pretty, this is a perfect opportunity to have like a full-on rhinestone machete or something.
Yeah, there's
there's
element
room
of
for a
camp.
prop. If you're not gonna make this super ugly and crazy, you can add like a little pretty camp moment to it or something.
Right.
But again, I'm just thinking about what I would have done if I had to like copy paste this and add on to it. But yeah, it's a fine look. She looks great. I enjoyed it, but
I agree.
It's just not. Their queens aren't giving me what I want from this.
Nobody has really quite given me exactly what I'm looking for.
Up next, we have Sasha Colby.
I think she looks great. The makeup is not necessarily my favorite.
I like the makeup.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's not really my favorite, but I think that it really works with what she's doing. And I really, really love the dress with the sheerness. This is exactly what I wished her entrance had been, with like the sheerness. You remember when I said like I wish the fabric had been like see-through mesh? This is exactly what I meant, because you get to see like her body, and I think adding that layer of like skin texture to it really, I think, adds to it. Obviously the body is bodying.
And I like the makeup because it's not crazy makeup, but it's different enough that something about it feels almost like jarring, and it fits like the feeling of like the outfit. Overall, like I really like it. It's one of my favorites on the runway.
Up next, we have Jax.
I like the idea of what she's going for. I think Medusa is a really great character to do, but I feel like with like the nose prosthetic she's doing, it's giving very Nakini. It took me a second to process that it was Medusa. It's just like the nose prosthetic.
It's supposed to be a snake nose, like reptilian. She's supposed to be like the reptilian / Medusa.
With Medusa, the hair is snakes, but she's not a snake. She's like, her whole thing is like she's like a beautiful woman. You can't look in her face. I thought it was smart with like the little head prop, the white fabric, almost like a little toga, very like ancient Greece. I think she did a great job with the prosthetic. I love the concept and the overall execution, but it just kind of loses me with a little bit of the elements of it.
Yeah, I definitely think Jax this episode is safe low. Up next, we have Sugar.
Yeah, this is, again, with this category, I think there's a lot of opportunity to do really fun, conceptual, spooky looks. And this is giving...
It looks like Halloween costume.
The doll she's holding is really scary and creepy. I wish she looked like the doll.
Yeah, I wish she looked like the doll. I think that would have been sick.
I think she came out with the same like bubblegum pink, but then she had like this deathly green rigor mortis. It's very Leg Avenue. It's very like, oh, I'm gonna be sexy doll. Yeah,
not my
it's a cute look. I think it's a cute look. If she came out to the club, did like a little number in it, I think it would have been a fun outfit. But for the runway, for this specific category, it's just not. It's really not hitting for me.
It's not looking good for Sugar.
And mixed with this and her Snatch Game, like...
You in danger, girl.
And following Sugar is Spice.
I love Sugar and Spice. I'm a really big fan of theirs. But these runways are really disappointing to me. This is also giving Spirit Halloween costume. I think I had this in high school, honestly.
Yeah. Again, it's a really cute look. I think it's like... If this was like their entrance look or something fun, it would have been fine. But for a runway like this, like Beautiful Nightmare, what's your nightmare?
Yeah, what is the nightmare? And then it's like their worst performance with their worst runway.
I know, Sugar and Spice, they're striking up for me on the runway, and they struck out on
Snatch Game.
Snatch Game.
Yeah.
Up next, we have Amethyst.
So before we talk about how Amethyst looks, I just want to talk about this iconic Lady Gaga performance. The 2009 VMA Lady Gaga performance is what I think turned me gay. Like, I was sitting at home in my room with like the TV with back on it, watching this performance, and like my eyes just like dilated. So this is like the most iconic moment for a lot of queer people. And I think the outfit looks great. Immediately recognizable what she's going for. However, I don't think it really fits the theme, like, at all.
It's a quintessential Lady Gaga look, and I think if you have this ready to go, or even if like it's something you could throw together, this is maybe not like the best runway for it, but it's a great opportunity to use it for like this runway.
Yeah, that's fair. If I had this just chilling in my closet, I definitely wear it too.
Yeah. 'Cause this is something where it's like the outfit itself is not the most crazy elaborate outfit, but like you said, because it is so influential, like the reference is so strong. The girls that get it. The girls that don't. And the girls that get it are on the judges panel, and they they like it. I've seen other queens do like the same like paparazzi look, and they've kind of done like a Goodwill version of it. I think she did a good job. It's very like one for one, like the hair and like the blood and everything. Like
sleeve.
She really sold it.
Yeah, and she only had one chance too.
Yeah,
because she had the blood, and she said this is going to be one take only.
Yeah, no, she did a good job. Like, I enjoyed it. I'm glad, like, if somebody was to do this look, I think she did a great job doing it, and it was solid, and yeah.
Up next, we have Aura Mayari.
I like this one. I really like the idea of she's coming out there, it's just a beautiful black gown, that she turns around, it's like the open back. I think it could have been a little bit gorier. It could have been a little bit extra, a little bit more drippage, you know. I like it well enough, but again, I think it's something that could have been just given a little bit more.
It was probably one of my favorite ones, honestly. I really enjoyed it. I really love how the front is very demure and classic, and there's nothing inconspicuous about it. And then she turns around, and it's like her spine has been ripped out. I really enjoyed it. This is kind of what I was looking for. I do agree. I think she could have gone just a little bit farther with it. But this is kind of more in the vein of what I was looking for.
Yeah, but even with like my critiques and like my constructive criticism, it's still one of my favorite outfits on the runway.
Yeah, so in the end, Miss Loosey LaDuca wins the challenge. And then the bottom two
is Sugar and Spice, the twins.
The twins.
Whenever you find out there's two contestants on Drag Race and they're twins, immediately you're like, okay, they're going to lip sync against each other. It feels almost predictable. But I will say,
I think they kind of deserved it.
Yeah, this didn't feel like shenanigans. Just based off like what we're shown, it feels correct.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people struggled in the Snatch Game, but I definitely think the twins missed all the marks. And then even on the runway, we're like, some of my least favorite runways.
It was just not their episode. They did very poorly in Snatch Game, and I think that their runways were very underwhelming. So I agree. I think no shenanigans. Yeah. I think they did deserve it, and which kind of sucks because I really liked them.
Yeah. And so with that, we're getting our very first twin sync for your life. I thought the lip sync was fun to watch. I don't think, again, like obviously with them being like TikTok stars, they haven't performed like on the circuits and in venues and clubs and stuff. And I feel like that is showing with this. I don't think they choreographed this number for this song. I definitely think that they either have already some like preconceived ideas and like bits and stuff to do for like a lip sync, or they're just so finely in tune with each other that they like these moments just like spontaneously happen and clicked with each other. There's a lot of fun moments, but they themselves didn't give like a great lip sync.
No.
But it was fun to watch still. Like the little moments they had each other. It was like a fun...
I like how much they interacted together. Like it made it more engaging than just like a one-on-one kind of lip sync moment.
Yeah.
I will say though that them working together kind of worked for one of them, and then for the other, it was kind of the death of her. Sugar obviously fell a little flat.
Yeah, with Sugar like tripping over her shoes more than once. It just gave it just enough to where like you could tell Spice held it together enough, and so she's the winner.
Yeah. So Spice sends home her twin, Sugar, which is so sad because Spice can't even like celebrate being safe because she is knowing that she's the one that sent her twin home.
Diabetics rejoice. Season 15 is now sugar-free.
I'm excited to see how Spice navigates the rest of her time on the season without Sugar.
Yeah.
Because it was very obvious that they leaned on each other quite a bit, which I mean, they're twins, it makes sense. But I'm really interested to see how she handles being alone.
Yeah.
And having that support system taken away.
But with that, that is the end of episode 4 of RuPaul's Drag Race season 15. Again, I am Maddy Morphosis.
And I am Miss Liza.
And if you want to follow us on other social medias, I am at Maddy Morphosis.
And I am at the Miss Liza.
But yeah, we will see you in the next one. Again, as a reminder, these are just our opinions. These are not gospel truth. They are not fact. They are just what our thoughts, unfiltered thoughts are. So if you agree with us, thank you so much. Send a like. And if you don't agree with us, let us know in the comments what you think, and still send a like because we are drag queens and we still need validation. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. And please do not send the queens hate. If you love them, go out, support them, like them, follow them, send them loving messages. And if you don't like them, just ignore them. Move on with your life. It's just a TV show. It's not that serious. There are more important things happening in the world, I assure you.
That is the end of today's episode, but join us each week as we review the episodes of season 15. So we will see you then. Bye! I'll follow you until you love me.
Papa Watson.